Hello and welcome to Aging Matters, a program featuring people who talk about issues of interest to older adults and their families. I'm Cheryl Beversdorf, your host. Today, Aging Matters TV show is pleased to present a program about music education and how it can improve older adults' health and well-being. My guests are Logan Massey, Senior Director of Music Education at Levine Music, and Ellen Lazarus, a music student at Levine. Logan will talk about why learning to play an instrument or enroll in a music education activity can improve quality of life for older adults and people of all ages and musical skill levels. Ellen will describe how taking guitar lessons at Levine has enriched her life. During the program, you'll see a segment of a guitar lesson with Ellen and her music instructor, Mia Pomerantz, chair of the Levine Guitar Department, to get a glimpse of what it's like to study guitar one-on-one with an expert Levine music teacher. So welcome, Logan and Ellen, and thank you for joining me today.
Thank you. It's great
So happy to be here.
Well, Logan, let's start with you. We need to understand a little bit about music and older adults. So as the population ages, are adults making music and arts a priority in their lives? And if so, in what way?
Yes, absolutely. At Levine Music, about a quarter of our population actually is made up of adult learners, which is really exciting for us. We're seeing adults come to us at various stages in their lives. We see early career adults. We see adults who are approaching retirement, adults who have now retired and have some more time on their hands are coming to see us. Adults are coming to us for a variety of reasons. They're coming because perhaps they used to play an instrument a long time ago and they want to dust it off and try it again. They maybe have never played an instrument and have some time on their hands, so they want to try something new. Some of them have played for a long time and are just looking to take the next step or engage in a deeper way. So there's really a multiple number of reasons that adults are coming to us, and we're really excited to have them. Adults are engaging in a variety of programming. We're seeing them in private lessons. We're seeing them in group classes, in ensembles. We also are seeing a lot of students coming to us just to learn more about music. So they're coming to our lecture recitals. They're coming to performances and master classes with guest artists. So it's pretty exciting. It seems like adults really want to find a way to engage in music. It's something that brings us joy. It's something that's with us for our entire life. It's kind of a common language that we all speak. And I think that we're seeing a lot of that at Levine right now.
Well, and let's talk a little bit about the physiological effects. How does music stimulate the brain? And I also understand that it enhances memory in older adults. Is that true? And if so, how?
Yeah, so I guess I'll say first that I'm not a scientist, but I have been involved in music education for a really long time. And I think what we know to be true about music, first, is that it just lights up the brain, right? So we know that when we engage in music, when we're playing an instrument, that there's a part of our brain that is responsible for reading the notes on the page and transferring that like a language. And we know that a part of our brain will light up when we're listening to music and we're adjusting our pitch or our tone or our tempo. Additionally, as we're playing, we're evoking emotion, we're evoking memory. Maybe we're remembering the music. Maybe we're remembering a time in our life when this music was important to us. So all of this is going on all at once in our brain. And so I think we all know it's sort of a human experience to enjoy music. And we know what that feels like internally. And we know that it's really being processed in the brain in a really productive way. I think that with respect to memory, the studies that I've read, particularly related to dementia and Alzheimer's, we're seeing a lot of really positive research come out of that links those two things, that when you engage in music, whether you're just listening to music or if you used to play an instrument, perhaps it's something that you can still do. It's a really positive way to reenact that part of your brain and sort of wake up in a way that makes you a little bit more present with the ones that you love that are around you. That was a personal experience for me. My grandmother actually had dementia and Alzheimer's, and she used to come to a lot of my concerts when I was in high school and college, actually, and it was a really wonderful way for me to get to spend time with her. So I believe in that wholeheartedly, that it's a wonderful way for us to engage in music as we're getting older and kind of spark our brain.
And I understand you talked a little bit about what Levine students do. You spoke a little bit about playing an instrument. I was also wondering, do they write music or are they involved with other aspects of music? And if so, as they come together, talk a little bit about those kind of activities. And then might there be some relationship as far as social advantages? What do we need to know there?
Yeah, absolutely. So, there are a variety of ways that you can get involved in music at Levine Music. Composition is a really exciting way to do that. So I'll start there since you mentioned that. Learning to write music is a really unique way of engaging in music. And, you would think that you may need years of music study to engage in writing music, but that's simply not the case. If you're interested in composition lessons, that's something that we offer. Composition can look like a lot of things. It can look like songwriting, right? It can look like writing music for just two players or perhaps a chamber ensemble or maybe a full orchestra. It depends on, where your interests lie. But that's a really great way to engage in music and just get some creations out into the world. Likewise, we have, a variety of instruments that are offered at Levine. So, a lot of students will come to us to play piano, very popular at Levine, or perhaps guitar, which is very popular at Levine. Some students are playing in bands or orchestras, so they're coming to us to play woodwinds, brass, percussion, string instruments. Voice is very popular at Levine. And we have a variety of ensembles, orchestra ensembles, choir ensembles, things like that. And of course, private lessons and group instruction on top of that. So all of that is to say, there's a variety of ways to get engaged in music. And what I think probably the biggest draw in all of that is the social component, right? So if you're looking to meet other people that have a common interest as you, music is a really wonderful way to do that. I've seen private lesson students that have stayed with their teachers at Levine for decades, really. We have teachers that have been there for a long time. And so that's a really exciting and unique relationship that you form with your private teacher that you see week over week. We have group class students that have engaged in music. They come to us, they start with their very first notes in the classroom, and then they stay together. So they'll actually enroll in the same class, semester after semester, and sort of become a unit with their teacher. So that's a really fun way to engage. Of course, in ensemble playing, you're working on repertoire together, you're rehearsing together, you're celebrating your successes after your concerts. So that's a really great way to engage in music with a lot of other people. And then in a community music school like Levine, you'll start to venture out of your ensemble or classroom environment. You'll attend performances or master classes, or things like that, where you actually just start to run into people in the community that you have spent time with in the classroom and in other places. So, it's a really great way to build community, to build social relationships, and feel really well connected with the world around you, I think.
And I would be remiss if I didn't ask you, do you have to know how to read music before you sign up or enroll for these classes, or have you had to have some kind of prior experience, or does that all come when you sign up for a class?
Well, I'm really glad you asked that, because I think that's one of the most daunting things for people when I talk to them. They say, I really want to play music, but I don't know if I know how to read music, if I can learn how to read music. And I don't think that's the case. I don't think you need to know how to read music to engage for the first time. At Levine in particular, we have a wonderful faculty, and particularly for adult learners, the goal is to meet the student where they are right now and then take them on this journey with them together. So if you know nothing about music, but you've always wanted to play, then your teacher will start with you right there. You will start with the basic building blocks of music, which will be holding the instrument or sitting at the instrument, learning proper hand position and posture, and then learning the notation on the page and how to relate those two things together. So that's the starting point. And then if you have the commitment to music, right? So you're coming to lessons every week, you are practicing your instrument in the off time, the repetition is what really puts those skills into place for you. So you work on the music, you repeat it over and over again, and it starts to become more like second nature. It becomes more like a habit to you. And once you've built that up, then you really can take yourself in any direction with any style that you want to study, or if you're looking at composition or something else like that, then those options are available to you. So if you have music reading skills, that's wonderful. You'll be able to jump right back in. But if you don't, I don't think that's necessary to get going.
Okay, well, now we want to hear from Ellen. What made you decide to take guitar lessons, and what do you enjoy most? We're really looking forward to the demonstration a little bit later in the program of you taking a lesson, but give us a little bit of an overview. What led you to decide that guitar lessons was what you wanted to do?
Right. So everything that Logan described is my experience. But what really got me to sign up for lessons was the COVID pandemic. Like everyone, I had a very shook up year, and it was an opportunity to sort of assess, what am I doing with my time, and what do I wish to do with my few extra hours of the day that I have now at home. And I had always promised myself that I would return to music. I had been a singer in my youth, choral music singer, and had to put that aside for profession and family. And I always promised I would come back to it. So the COVID pandemic was the time I felt I should really just go back into it. And my children had studied music at Levine when they were in grade school and through high school. So my son played classical guitar. Mia was his teacher. So somewhat impulsively, I contacted Mia and said, I guess Levine's doing online lessons, and how about I pick up that guitar? And of course, she was very supportive, encouraging. And I just want to add, as it happens, shortly after I signed up for lessons, I had a serious accident and I had a head injury. And so I stopped, put myself on brain rest, stopped playing. After a few weeks of rest, I started back up again, and I used the lessons as therapy. I was having some vision problems, some cognitive problems, and I wanted to use music to help recover. I'm all better now. So you asked, what do I enjoy now about it? That was the follow-on question. Now it's just fun. It's just a part of my life. Like Logan said, it's a big part of my social life. I've made friends. I have duo partners I've met and worked with at Levine. And I've sort of expanded out into the community with my interest in music. I joined a club of amateur adult musicians in the DMV, and we play music together, recitals and stuff.
And so if I understand correctly, you said you started in COVID, so how long have you been taking the lessons?
Going on 5 years.
5 years.
Which sounds like a long time, but I'm sure Logan would agree with classical guitar and probably other instruments. It's really not that long. Classical guitar requires daily application, daily practice. And for adults, we have maybe less agility and flexibility, and maybe a little bit less, sharp memory skills. So it really rewards, classical guitar rewards daily practice, very consistent practice over time. So I'm starting to be able to make music only now after about 4+ years.
Well, and we'll look forward to seeing the lesson with you and your instructor. Any other personal benefits that you've enjoyed by learning to play the guitar?
So many. Yeah, so many. So we've touched on a lot of them. The social part of it is huge. My hands are strong. I can open jars. Not every middle-aged person has such facility with jar opening as I do. Talking about memory, my memory gets an intense workout every day from doing guitar. Not necessarily because everything I do has to be memorized, but I do recitals, perform casually, informally, And it just sounds better if you're playing from memory instead of looking at the music. So I get a big memory workout. But yeah, I would say the social aspect and just the engagement in maybe a community, like something that's a little more than just myself, is a big benefit.
Well, it sounds like you're enjoying it very much, and we are going to look forward to seeing how a guitar lesson goes. So you're going to actually see a segment of a guitar lesson with faculty member Mia Pomerantz, chair of the Levine Guitar Department, and my guest, Ellen Lazarus. And in this lesson, we'll see Mia and Ellen work on some technical exercises, as well as 1 or 2 guitar pieces that Ellen has been practicing lately. So let's watch.
Okay, let's do it. Yeah, you start.
Sure. Sure.
Okay. Do you want to? Are you playing that one on Friday or no?
Well,
just
I thought I would ask you. So I thought it would be fun to try this one because I've never performed it, but I've been working on it pretty consistently. So I worked on memory. So I actually focused a little more on this one.
Yeah, I mean that was good last week too.
Yeah, and I just thought, why not?
It's just a fast one, so with nerves, it's tricky.
I won't be playing it. I won't be able to play it at speed.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's
that's
pretty
fine.
slow too, so.
You can, okay.
So I kind of thought I would do that and then
okay, let's
see
run
what
it.
happens.
Fine. Okay. So by memory. You got it. Same thing. Each one is more. Ba ba. And the G sharp is your rival. Okay.
That's a hard last chord.
Yeah, it's difficult. Better on the crescendo, but same thing. And I like how you take a little bit of time. Ba, 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 ba,
That's
ba.
a cheat.
But it's nice though.
Yeah.
Look, the ending is your ending of your solo, right? So it has to be special because it's not like you have another piece after. You got to be dramatic there because this is the end of your whole performance.
Yeah.
So, like, it's the first time you're going to play Bauer, so it's going to be a first of that. But it's okay. You're ready. You just have to be, like, mentally. Yeah. Okay, I got to run upstairs.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay.
That was fun.
That was.
I'll
This is
see
yours.
you next week.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed watching a bit of Ellen Lazarus's guitar lesson with Levine faculty member Mia Pomerantz. Ellen's weekly lessons with Mia are an hour long, So this was a preview of how Ellen's personal musical journey progresses each week. So Ellen, a couple more questions I just wanted to ask you regarding your taking these lessons. What do you hope to accomplish? You said you've been doing this now for 5 years already. How many more years? Are you going to look at another instrument? What's the future look like for you and your guitar?
Right. So weekly lessons give me guidelines. I would say the bigger picture is that I'm aware I'm aging, and I, am aware that some of the changes that occur are not in the direction I want. But when I go to my guitar lessons, I see a little bit of improvement every week. I apply myself, I practice, I see improvement, and they remind me that I can still learn, I can still have fun, I can do that, forever. So I hope to just be able to do that. I don't have grand aspirations to, record with a major label, but I do hope to continue to improve. I hope to be able to play music with my family. I hope at some point someone can say, my daughter can say, oh, I like this song so much, I want to sing this song, can you play the song? And I can look at it and get through it. I hope I can develop those sort of social music skills.
If a student or an older adult wants to learn a particular instrument or play an instrument, is there a certain degree of competence that is expected before one starts, or do you start out with the basics and go from there? What's the situation usually?
Yeah, I really don't think that you need to have much of a background. You just need to have an interest, and you need to have drive. You need to be committed to coming to classes and to putting in the work between classes. So if you have no experience with music whatsoever, you might find an entry point that looks like a group class, where it's a little bit of a lower pressure situation. It's a social environment. Everybody is there for the same reason, and you're learning your first notes at the same time. So this is an opportunity sort of just to come back week over week and just get the bare basics to see if it's something that you like. And so no experience really required for that type of activity. I think that's a great place to start. If you do have experience, that's wonderful. Like I said, we can meet you where you are. So if that's square one, then that's where we'll start with you. And if you have some experience that we can dig into to try and move you along a little faster, then we can do that as well. But really the journey is between you and the instructor, and we'll move at the pace that's comfortable for you.
And I've been hearing Ellen talk about recitals. Mm-hmm. Help us understand about recitals in general. Obviously, she's in recitals. What kind of recitals do you have? Where are they held? How do you find out about them? Who's invited to attend? What should we know if we want to see any student? Older adults, of course, would be our preference, but perhaps other students as well.
Well, I think what Ellen described is shared amongst a lot of the adult learners. Performance can be nerve-wracking. But what I want people to understand about performing is that essentially you're just putting yourself under pressure, and then you are relying on your habits. So we're hoping to build good habits over time with constant repetition and practice, so that when you get into the performance environment, you really feel relaxed and can just play what you feel like you know. And so that's what our teachers are trying to do. And then we want to find really creative and unique ways to showcase that for our students. So adult learners in particular at Levine have access to a series of adult recitals that we run. They happen across all of our campuses. We have 5 campuses across the DMV region, 2 in Maryland, 2 in DC, and 1 new campus that is just opening in Falls Church, in West Falls Church. So those are great experiences for students. If you play an instrument that needs accompaniment, we'll provide a piano accompanist for you so you can play collaboratively. If you want to play something that's more unique like that. Those are open to the public, typically attended by family and friends, maybe some members of the community, but it's a very nurturing environment. There's a lot of support and love in the room. And we're, again, just celebrating what our adult learners have been able to accomplish, because we know that they're after something that they really love doing.
And I wanted to find out one more thing because you had mentioned this already, the possibilities as far as taking any kind of, being involved in any kind of musical activity. You have private lessons, you have group lessons, and then you mentioned ensembles. Mm-hmm. What's the difference between each, and does the student get to kind of decide in which group they want to participate, or is that come from the instructor as to you'd be better off playing solo and you'd be better off in a group? How does that work?
Yeah, so I'll start there with the groups and ensembles. Really, we just want to make sure you're the right fit for the group, so that you have the skills to be successful in the group and you'll feel comfortable in the room. So a lot of that is listed in the course description for the ensemble of the class. So if you take a look at that, it'll often say how much experience might be expected. And if you have questions about that, typically we have contact information in the course description, or you can just give us a call and we'll point you in the right direction. So we want to just make sure that the experience that you're coming to the table with makes sense for what the ensemble offers. Most of our adult ensemble experiences and group classes just require a couple of years of experience. Just some basic note reading skills. You can hold the instrument and make sound, and you have some experience really just facilitating in that way. So we're not necessarily looking for a decade of experience or that you studied all the way through high school or anything like that. So we have a lot of experience that's available for students that just have the basic level of exposure. If you don't have that yet, then we can get you into a group class. And in those group classes, you learn those fundamental building blocks in a group setting or in a private lesson. So the beauty of a private lesson, of course, is that it's one-on-one. So a totally tailored approach. You will discuss your goals with your private teacher when you first meet them. You will check in on those goals on a regular basis, develop a path and a plan to achieve them and to develop the skills that you need based on what you're looking for. So if you would like to be in an ensemble like an orchestra or a choir, but you're not proficient in reading music, we can work with you there. If your interests are maybe on the contemporary side, we actually have a really wonderful contemporary department. If you want to play in a rock band, we can do that for you. If you want to play some jazz, we can do that. We have cabaret classes for those that are interested in musical theater. So if you're ready to jump in, we're ready to take you. And if you want to build up some of those skills, we can do that through the private setting or in a group class.
So many opportunities.
So many options.
All right, so one more time then, how can listeners learn more about music instructions for older adults and people of all ages at Levine?
Yeah, so our website is definitely the first stop, levinemusic.org. On the website, like I said, we have a course catalog. So in that course catalog, we list all of our classes. You can sort that by the term that you're looking for, by the type of experience, if it's a group class or a private lesson. You can sort that by the instrument that you play or the style that you're looking for. So you can kind of peruse there just to see what's being offered at the current moment. If you have any questions about a specific class, a lot of the contact information is listed right there for you. So you can reach out to one of our department chairs or anybody that's listed in that course description. You can always give us a call. We have campus staff at each of our 5 locations, and they're all very knowledgeable about what we offer at Levine. And if they don't know an answer to something, they will point you to somebody, maybe me, and we'll help you figure out what is appropriate for you or answer your questions so that we can get you involved in lessons.
Well, I want to thank my guests, Logan Massey, Senior Director of Music Education at Levine Music, and Ellen Lazarus, music student at Levine also, for joining me today. This program will be posted on the Aging Matters TV show YouTube channel. And Aging Matters is also produced as a podcast. Programs are released every Tuesday at 3 p.m. on Apple, Spotify, and other podcast sites. So to be sure to check out the Aging Matters website, which is agingmattersonline.com, for more information about our radio programs, podcasts, and TV episodes. Thank you for watching the program today, and please join me again for the next Aging Matters show. And until then, remember, age is just a number, not a label.